Hey, my friends, welcome back to Body Led by Design. This is episode 182, and we are starting a new series all about weight loss resistance. Weight loss resistance is my world. I would say about 85% of the clients that I work with have some sort of weight loss resistance. Many of my clients come to me knowing that they don't feel good, and that is the primary thing that they want to fix. But also, they want to lose weight, right? Like on the other side of that, they're saying, I want to feel better, but also I want weight loss to be a side effect of being able to feel better. And so I'm going to do another series. We did a series of 3 of GLP-1, and I think that really set us up beautifully for a segue into weight loss resistance because many of you that are on a GLP or considering it probably have some sort of weight loss resistance. Now, weight loss resistance in my world isn't just physical, although that is a big driver of weight loss resistance and what I work on with my clients. But also, there is a portion that there is emotional weight loss resistance and mental weight loss resistance that also exasperate physical weight loss resistance. So they're all 3 intertwined, and you are an entire human being with all of these aspects to you. So it's so important to include the mental and emotional piece into healing weight loss resistance, because otherwise we're just healing one part of you. And when we heal just one part, we don't get a complete solution. So we're going to talk about all aspects of weight loss resistance in this series. We're going to talk about why weight loss resistance happens, who it typically happens to, what the solutions are, and what to be doing to help heal weight loss resistance from this series. Before I get too far into the series, I do want to let you know that I'm going to be having a challenge starting on Monday, July 13th, which is the Midsummer Reset. The reason why I want to do a Midsummer Reset, in the past, I would have been like, Mel, that is a terrible time to do any sort of challenge. And is it true? Yes, that is probably business wise not a great way to get to have new clients. However, I do know what happens after the 4th of July. Up until the 4th of July, everyone is going ham. It's like, it's summertime. I'm going to like do all the things. We're going to have a little more freedom. And we really get into that summer vibe, which is great. And then we hit the 4th of July. And after that, we crash and burn. And I see it every single year. And so I want to help hold you a little more accountable to not crashing and burning after the 4th of July, because you'll hit the 4th of July and then all of a sudden you're real tired because you haven't been sleeping. You're on a lot of blood sugar roller coasters. There's more alcohol involved. You're going to bed later. You're starting to skip your workouts. You're starting to skip your meal prep. And then you tell yourself, I'll just wait until the kids go back to school. Don't wait until the kids go back to school. There's no reason why you need to feel like shit between the 4th of July and when the kids go back to school. There are a lot of things that you can do that are totally within your capacity and actually increase your capacity to feel better in this time of year. And so I'm not going to sit on the sidelines and watch you crash and burn. So it's the Midsummer Reset. It's $99. You can go to the show notes and you can sign up there. You can also DM me the word reset and in Instagram, and I can get you signed up there as well. And you'll be able to read all about the reset, what we're doing, why we're doing it. The biggest thing about this reset is we're really focusing on inflammation. And that works in beautifully into weight loss resistance, because one of the primary reasons of weight loss resistance is chronic inflammation. And the challenge is also going to help you do some things that are going to reduce your inflammation, which will give you more energy, which will alleviate the stress on your body. And that can also just kind of turn things around for you quite easily. So we will be doing that starting on July 13th. It's going to be 4 weeks. It'll get us through early July. And I think you're going to feel a whole lot better this summer if you participate. Okay, so let's get into weight loss resistance. Today's episode is primarily going to be about kind of pinpointing the person, and if this is you, if we're dealing with physical weight loss resistance. Today's not going to be a whole lot on emotional and mindset. We will get into that into future episodes, but I want to talk about physically what's happening to the woman who is likely experiencing weight loss resistance, so you can know, like, is that me? Could that be me? I often think, and when I think back to like when I experienced weight loss resistance at a point in my life, I had for so many years as a coach believed that anyone could lose weight if you just went into a calorie deficit. If you were consistent enough, you ate what I told you to eat, you tracked your macros, you did your workouts, that weight loss had to happen. And what I found after working with clients is that that's not always true. I'm going to talk about the two clients that typically experience physical weight loss resistance and some emotional weight loss resistance. And what I figured out was that's actually not true. Like there is a segment of women who physically cannot lose weight. Their bodies are completely resistant, and there's always one reason as to why your body is resistant. So remember this, if you remember anything from this episode series, there's always one reason as to why your body is not resistant, and then we go from there. The one reason always is that your body does not feel safe. When your body doesn't feel safe, it's going to protect all of your precious resources. That includes your energy and your body fat. And then that results in you feeling tired, having low energy, and your body conserving all body fat on your body and not wanting to go into the mechanism of burning body fat for energy. It will store it instead. And then also when you eat, it wants to store that as body fat as well. Always coming from a body that does not perceive that it is safe. Now, we're going to talk about why it doesn't believe it's safe, but just know everything points to safety in the body. So I also want to think about this ideal person who would be experiencing weight loss resistance. She probably is somewhere between the ages of 35 to 55, somewhere in there. I mean, you could also be 30, you could also be 60, somewhere in that range, right? I want you to think about, if this is you, what your life looked like maybe 10 years ago. So I'll use myself as an example. 10 years ago, I was 32. I had just had a baby. I had been running half marathons before I got pregnant. I had been in nursing school. I was working full time as a nurse. I had two other little kids. I was building my career. It was a lot of go, 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 right? Small children rushing around all the time, going to work, trying to cook dinner, trying to get them in bed. It was just going, going, going. And then the physical work of pregnancies and breastfeeding. We also went through infertility. And so some hormones were going on with that as well. So there was just a lot physically going on. And my story is not unlike yours. Many of you have had that similar story in the last 10 years or 10 years ago. And so now what does your life look like? Now your career is building. Now there's probably more higher stakes in your career. Now your children aren't necessarily physically exhausting, but they're mentally and emotionally exhausting. You're thinking about them. You're wondering where they're going, where they are. You're trying to track them. You're trying to manage their schedules. You're trying to get them where they need to be. So now there's a lot more mental and emotional work that's coming along with your family, but also your career. And now hormones are shifting on top of that. So we have perimenopause entering the picture, or menopause. And at one point, we had hormones on our side to protect us. Estrogen is very protective. Progesterone is very protective. And now they're hit or miss if you're in perimenopause, or they're just gone or very low if you're postmenopausal. And at one point, these hormones protected you. They created resiliency inside of your body. They created also emotional resiliency and mental resiliency. There's a reason why you get to perimenopause and you stop giving any fucks, because we have lost estrogen that actually gave fucks at one time, and now it just doesn't. Sorry if you have kids in the car. So now we have run out of them. And that is why we just simply like throw our hands up in the air and we're like, whatever, do whatever you want. I have stopped caring. It's because we don't have estrogen. That's why. So we, at one point, this is just to say that at one point we had just hormones on our side that helped us recover. It helped us be resilient. And it's not saying we're not resilient, but it is saying the resiliency now needs to be created by ourselves and not by estrogen. We have to do more work to create the resiliency that we're totally capable of having, but it does require more intentional work, not only physical work, but mental work and emotional work. So let me go back to the clients that I used to work with and would feel so perplexed as to why is this woman not losing weight? I can have two clients, right? One client, I would give her the ideal protocols, like do these things, everything will work and it'll work beautifully. And we'd get her so far, but there would be so much resistance to giving up wine or giving up time to meal prep or giving up maybe some snacking or giving up this one thing that would just probably keep her like help move things along quicker. But she was very stuck on keeping these things. And that person was probably experiencing some physical weight loss resistance, but was also very much so experiencing emotional weight loss resistance because she was keeping the things inside of her life that helped her cope emotionally. However, were not helping her lose weight in a very like actually much more simpler way. She was making things a lot harder for herself because she was not willing to feel her emotions. She wanted to rely on the glass of wine every night so she didn't have to feel her emotions, right? So that's where the emotional weight loss resistance comes in, or the mental weight loss resistance. And then I would have the client who literally would do everything. I mean, literally do anything to lose weight, did all the things, and nothing worked. And that's when I was like, I don't know something. There's something here that I'm missing. And that's true. So I went out and I got my certifications in functional health and functional nutrition coaching. And I also got weight loss certified, weight loss resistance certification. I did all the things, right? And then guess what happened at the same time that I was doing all this? I went through my own weight loss resistance journey. All of a sudden, I was in the midst of growing my business and I was also probably entering perimenopause. And I think all the dieting in the past, the bodybuilding had just caught up to me. The large amount of stress is also very close to being post-COVID. It just all caught up to me. And all of a sudden I was like, what is happening here? Why am I just gaining weight? And I do all the things. I know all the things. Why is this happening to me? So I became my first client. I created protocols I tried and attempted on me. And that's how I really created the framework on that I use for my clients now. It's using digestion, it's using hormones, it's using nervous system, it's using stress, it's using nutrition, and it's using muscle to be able to create the resiliency in our body so it feels safe, so is willing to burn body fat. That's the whole enterprise of my system. So that really in a nutshell is the type of person that is going to be experiencing weight loss resistance. You're probably a woman, you're probably in midlife, and especially for physical weight loss resistance, this is the segment of the population that experiences this. Because for the most part, if men want to lose weight, they don't have to do a lot. They just have to start counting their calories, moving their body. When you're in your 20s and your early 30s, you can do pretty much the same thing. Physically, it works, right? Because you have hormones on your side. But once midlife women get to a point in their life, those things no longer work anymore. Now, the way that we approach it is through the allowing the body to perceive that it is safe. So, what are the things that you may be doing during your day that send the message to your body that you're not safe, right? How do you start your day? Do you hurry out the door? Do you skip breakfast? Do you tell yourself that it's fine, you'll catch up later? Or maybe you listen to my podcast long enough that you put a scoop of protein in your coffee and you're like, well, that's good for now, right? I'll catch up later. And then you work, you go to meetings, maybe you schedule some appointments, and then you end up skipping lunch entirely. And then 3 p.m. comes around and you're starving, right? So you grab anything, snack drawer, candy drawer, whatever it looks like, maybe a latte because now you're exhausted. And then you end up eating the majority of your calories after 3 p.m. And you might be somebody who is working out, but it's rather inconsistent. It's probably not strategic. There's probably not progressive overload happening. You're just maybe showing up to a class and picking up the weights, but not actually tracking what you're doing or paying attention to what you're doing or making sure that you have the correct form to actually put muscle on your body. This is such a crucial part of breaking through weight loss resistance is how you put muscle on your body. You're maybe not sleeping well, you're tossing and turning at night, you're relying on supplements, you have a whole cupboard of supplements. You're like, there's got to be one thing that just shifts here for me, right? And I'll always say it's not one thing in your supplement cupboard. It's never one thing that you're missing in your supplement cupboard. The only thing you're missing is that your body doesn't perceive that you are safe. The other thing is you're probably following dozens of wellness accounts on Instagram or TikTok, and you get more and more confused by the day. And you end up buying a $20 thing or a $30 thing or doing this free challenge or doing that. And all of those things just end up to make you feel more and more confused and you spin your wheels. Like you're consuming more and more information. You don't need more information at this point. You don't really think you eat that badly, but in reality, you're just not eating that good, right? You're not actually paying attention to what does well actually mean. And you probably have tried to get labs done. Maybe you did get labs done and they came back fine. or you were told that you don't need labs, or you were given a lot of information and you don't know what to do with it. All very normal things of someone who is probably experiencing weight loss resistance. And in your mental state, you're confused, you're overwhelmed. You don't know who to trust, you don't know what actually works anymore. You just think like, and you easily go back into old patterns. I'm just going to work harder and eat less. That worked before. I can't possibly do anything else besides that because what if I keep gaining weight? And many times you feel like you're the problem. Many times you feel like you're the only one experiencing this. You're like, why am I the only one that can't figure this out? And I just got off 2 coaching calls of women who had the same exact conversation where there's something wrong with me. Everyone else can figure this out, but why can't I? And here's what I want to tell you is that when you tell yourself those thoughts, you're basically saying, I'm special, I'm unique in the worst possible way. How is that helpful? How is that ever going to help you find a solution that actually works for you? Because if you're living, if you're breathing, if you're listening to this podcast, there is solutions that will work for you. Hands down, absolutely. If you want to lose weight and you're in a weight loss resistant state, there are things that will shift you into a fat burning state. There are things that you can do to build your muscle. There are things that you can do to work on your emotional regulation and your mental resistance. There are things that you can do. You are human. You're totally capable of healing. These things are very solvable. Stop telling yourself shitty thoughts that keep perpetuating the problem and keep having you starting over and over and over again. If you are, my friend, there's nothing inherently wrong with you as a being. There's only something wrong with your mind telling you crappy things. That's it. So, with someone with weight loss resistance, many times what you think you need to do is work harder, cut calories, do more cardio. And if you're not losing weight, you're not trying hard enough. You're not being consistent. You're not perfect enough. Or you have that shitty thought of, there's something wrong with me. But here's the thing. I know that that's what diet culture told you. That's what you were taught since you were a little girl. That's what worked at one point in your life. So your mind totally believes that that's the solution. And it's always going to until you tell it what to do, until you tell it what to do differently and prove it differently, it's always going to go back to that. So just know as you continue to have resistance, mental resistance on a different way to approach this, that will come up and that nothing has gone wrong. It's now your job to challenge that running in the background that you need to eat less and move more. Because in weight loss resistance for women in midlife, you actually have to do the opposite of what your body has been doing in the past, right? What you have to do differently is actually eat more strategically. You have to move strategically. You have to understand your emotions. You have to catch the shitty thoughts. Those are the things that will help your body feel safer. Notice right now, ask yourself, why wouldn't my body feel safe today? Right? Think about the things you've told yourself. Think about the feelings you're probably avoiding. Think about the meals that you haven't had, the nutrients that you've skipped over. Think about the sleep that you're having at nighttime, right? All of the things that add up in the day that tell your body we're not safe here, just continue to put it into a conservation state. Hold on to the body fat. So, weight loss resistance, what is this actually? Like, the definition of weight loss resistance is the inability to lose body fat despite being in a calorie deficit or engaging in behaviors that would normally produce a fat loss result, right? So, the actions in do not equal the actions out or the typical expected result. You're doing the things that really should work and they're simply not working. Not because you're not disciplined enough, not because you don't have enough willpower. Weight loss resistance is real. It is a physiological condition. It is a whole body problem. It is not one thing. There's not one thing besides the lack of safety that you are missing, which means that we need to involve all systems of the body. That means we need to look at your hormones. We need to look at your digestion. We need to look at your nutrition. We need to look at your muscle. We need to look at your mindset, and we need to look at your nervous system. All of those things are working together to either create a safe picture in your body or an unsafe picture. And when we start to create alignment in all of those things, boom, your body begins to believe you that your environment is now safe. And when your body believes you that your environment is now safe, it will now willingly go into body fat and say, I don't need this anymore. I trust you. I trust that you are putting us in an environment that we can thrive in and we can live in and we are good here. And that is your responsibility to put yourself into that environment. So I want you to really think about your day to day. Where could you be missing the mark on nutrition? Where could you be missing the mark on muscle? Where is stress overruling your life? Where's your sleep tossing and turning? Or why are you tossing and turning? Are you breaking down and digesting your foods? Do you believe it's not possible for you, that there's something wrong with you, that it's just not solvable? These are all things and reasons as to why your body begins to believe that you are not safe. And as I said in the beginning of the episode, this is totally solvable. All of these things have a very real and simple solution. So I want you to start thinking about your body as being very easily solvable instead of a complex puzzle. Because when you believe it's a complex puzzle, you're always going to walk around feeling confused about it. But if you believe there is a simple solution, you'll easily be able to find it. It will come to you so much easier. You'll look at it and be like, that's all? That's all I have to do? Okay, I can do that. Great, let's go. Let's get to work. Let's do that. Versus maybe it's this and maybe it's that. Maybe it's this supplement. Maybe it's that supplement. Maybe I need to go to this workout class or that workout class. No, you just need to put muscle on your body and you need to be strategic about it. Okay, my friends, if you heard yourself in this episode, I'm so excited to get to next week, episode 183, where we're going to talk about the root causes. So the real physical reasons as to why weight loss resistance begins in the first place. Okay, I will see you next week.